areas facing insecurity. The motion compels TSC to employ school leavers who can be trained during the holidays. Caroline B., KTN News.
All right, and serious issue there for the plight of teachers, but several angles to it. One is, of course, the teachers' migration from those areas probably means that the education in that area is going to be negatively affected, but there's their security to think about, and the fact that there just seems to be a problem providing security for them to feel confident enough to stay.
Yeah, it's very true. This seems to be a case of being, between a rock and a hard place. Because as you say, there is the side of it is important for us to be able to provide quality education for the students who live in some of these areas. But also it is important for us to provide security for those in the teaching profession. And I think one of the, the solutions that is being given of having locals teach, I don't think that is good enough, because it's not an issue of locals or non-locals. It is an issue of security. And we understand that some of these areas are prone to, terrorism attacks. And I think the government needs to come in very strongly where they are able to deal with the issue of insecurity to the extent that they can give teachers confidence to be able to go, in some of these areas. And also, I think that there has to be a need for a very strong incentive for people to be able to go. Because if we look at the story of the teacher, the fact that they also suffer not just from insecurity, but issues of facilities not being available, things like healthcare and maybe housing, we wouldn't know. But these are some of the challenges that they face.
Absolutely.
So I think that if we are to send our teachers on, some of these areas, we should be able to provide such an environment for them to be able to feel appreciated and some level of comfort. I think the way she was treated is not right, So those
even just to motivate them, because like you say, you're away from your normal habitat for those who possibly are not from that area. Secondly, it is what would come under hardship areas. So there should be a hardship allowance incentive, basically, that helps them to be motivated to stay in those areas. But of course, key and paramount is to provide security for them.
Yeah, I think something else I want to mention, Mike, is that we do have some of our citizens who work in some of these very heavily, areas that are attacked by terrorists. We know some of our citizens who are working in the Middle East and some of these areas. But I think it's about the environment that we create for the people working there. If we create an environment that is secure enough, an environment where they are heavily appreciated and there are incentives, sometimes people are willing to go, because if you weigh the benefits versus, the challenges, sometimes you can be able to make that decision easily.
All right. Now, Gideon Kyalo, still on education, who rose from a position of a cleaner to a school